Hello? You able to hear me? It took some time, but I've been able to intercept the first official broadcast from Doctor Doom. So let me just get straight into it so I can hopefully debunk any more of Doctor Doom's lies.
Welcome, my loyal subjects, to the first episode of Straight Outta Latveria. Today we shall discuss my greatest annoyance and most hated adversary, Reed Richards, the so-called smartest man on Earth. Let me ask you this, Reed. If you are truly so intelligent, how did you not know of your wife's meetings with the submariner? Yes, Richards, I know of it all. But I'm getting ahead of myself, my beloved Latverians.
I'll speak on that later.
If you still do not know the beginning of our rivalry, I shall now inform you. Many years ago, I had arrived in America to begin my studies at university. My mind still far greater than anyone else's, but not fully blossomed into its full potential. That is when I met Richards. Day after day, he would distract me from my studies with his foolish attempts at friendship. I paid him no mind at first, but his pestering would become insufferable. In my free time at university, I had dedicated all my knowledge to the assembly of a device, whose purpose shall remain private.
So, unfortunately, due to my limited resources, I only have access to what public files and information we can get that hasn't been restricted, whether it be by Doctor Doom himself or governments such as Shield. But from what we have learned about the multiverse theory being true, I can only guess, and with Doctor Doom's proficiency in mystic arts, I can only guess that this machine may have been for or heinous purposes, possibly to reach other worlds, other dimensions even. Of course, I do not know the full details. If I can find anything or informed by anyone, I will be sure to share it. But I do not have any further on his claim, but I can only guess he keeps it private for heinous purposes.
This machine was the culmination of all of my work, and Richard had the gall to slither into my room like the snake he is and critique my life's work. Victor, everything looks brilliant except for this one calculation. There could be catastrophic failures if this were to... Preposterous! Insane! How dare he come into my place of living and lecture me? Needless to say, I forced the fool out of my dorm and went back to my studies.
There are very few moments I will ever defend Doctor Doom, but I will say that going into someone's living quarters without permission can be rude. I'll give him that. But if him, the honestly earned smartest man in the world, says that even one calculation being off, it has to at least be considered.
Granted, the machine did explode, horrifically scarring my face, but that is neither here nor there.
So he was right.
But this was only the beginning of our rivalry. Much has occurred since then. let me regale you with but a few of the failures of Reed Richards.
Now, I'm not saying everyone's perfect. Not everyone's perfect. But Doctor Doom intends to slander Mr. Fantastic.
We shall begin with the story of my goddaughter, Valeria Richards. Years ago, Sue Storm was giving birth to her second child, a daughter. But there were complications. The child had been conceived in the negative zone and so was releasing immense amounts of cosmic radiation during the birth. This was obviously affecting Susan and the child, and something had to be done or it could mean the worst. Reed was nowhere to be found. Susan's condition deteriorated and still Richards was not there.
It's only fair to assume that if they were coming from the negative zone, Mr. Fantastic was with other heroes possibly at the time, trying to save Sue, trying to save Miss the Invisible Woman. Sorry, I forget the different naming of our heroes in other worlds, but I'm certain they were trying to save her.
That was when Jonathan Storm came to me, begging like a dog for my help. I agreed. We both returned and still Richards was not there. I delivered the child with the use of the arcane arts, saving both the wife and the daughter of my greatest foe. Soon Richards returned, looking disheveled and worn down, having missed the birth of his own child. If I had not been there, the worst could have happened. For saving the child, I was granted a great honor from Susan. I was allowed to name the girl. And from that day on, whenever Reed Richards looked at his beloved Valeria or Susan, he would know deep in his heart, when once before he could not save them, I could.
Granted, on paper, what you did was a very kind act, but given your motives were to simply hold it against Reed for the rest of his life.
Finally,
Horrible.
let us disprove this title the world has given him. The smartest man in the world. What a joke.
Now, I will also rebuttal that argument, Doom, because our world tends to throw around the smartest being in the world or the universe to others. There have been claims, for example, that the princess or queen of Wakanda, depending on the universe we are in, Shuri, as the smartest one in the world, smartest person in the world. Others claim it is the hero of the Lower East Side, New York, Moon Girl, being the smartest in the world, or even more so, the very one you helped conceive, you helped deliver, or pardon, Valeria being the smartest person in the world. But for the longest time, Reed Richards has been deemed as the smartest.
How could the smartest man in the world not cure his so-called best friend Benjamin Grimm after years of mental anguish and self-loathing?
Do you not forget, Dr. Doom, that some people choose to accept their situation? I do not know many details, but I'm certain there is at least one time when Mr. Ben Grimm came to terms with his condition as the Thing, or in other multiversal tales that apparently based on what I've heard from little interceptions of broadcasts that I have yet to fully decipher, that you successfully turn Ben Grimm back into his normal form, but you only did it in order to make Reed vulnerable, which forced Ben Grimm to go back into a machine that repeated the cosmic ray experiment, turning him back into the thing.
How could the smartest man in the world send a Hulk into the cold vacuum of space and not think that there would be deadly repercussions?
I've heard this story that merely sending the Hulk away is only a band-aid on a large wound, and I unfortunately, due to my limited resources, have yet to know the full story behind this occurrence that he shows. But I'm certain that Reed and those who collaborated with him had a plan or good intentions.
How could the smartest man in the world fail to see time after time that I am superior to him in every single way possible?
This is a bold-faced lie, and everyone should know it. There are things that others are greater at than others. I am not denying that. I'm not denying that at all. But to claim that Doctor Doom is superior to Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, in every way is pure blasphemy. And I say this simply because aren't there other variants or doppelgangers or versions of you, Doctor Doom, who have lost to Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four in almost comical ways? Weren't you once defeated by simply being heated up by Human Torch's supernova and then rapidly cooled to the point where you were a standing statue? Or was there another version where your powers originated from an alternate dimension, and yet you were defeated on the other side of that wormhole portal? And that was when the Fantastic Four hadn't really even given themselves their names. To say that you are the greatest of all, well, many say it is earned, and I would say that it's not a full truth.
Simple. He is not the smartest man in the world. But what would he be then?
A hero.
Whose wife has no loyalty to him.
I have full certainty that the Invisible Woman loves her husband as much as he loves her, and the other world versions of her, such as the video game of all things, Marvel Rivals, shows that their relationship is strong. It is merely Namor, or Namor, depending on the pronunciation, the Submariner, is the one who keeps interfering.
A man could not save his own daughter.
Situational.
A man who is heralded as the smartest man in the world, and yet makes mistakes a child would not. In other words, he is nothing to Doom. And now you know why I despise him so. I hope you all enjoyed the first episode of Straight Outta Latveria. There shall be more soon. By the time this video releases, there will be a poll on my community page. I am allowing you all to decide what member of the Fantastic Four we shall discuss in the next episode. All you have to do is vote for the member you loathe the most, aside from Reed Richards, of course. If you wish for us to discuss a different topic entirely, please leave your recommendations in the comments, and Doom will get to them after I have finished destroying the legacy and careers of the Fantastic Four. Doom is thankful to have each and every one of you
Well, is it if it isn't a full-on glory fest to him? If it isn't a full-on glory fest, just propping him up as this savior, as this great being. It'll take some time to decipher this one down, but I will do my best. Thank you for anyone who sees this, and if this hasn't reached any of our world's heroes, please do your utmost to try and reach them. I know I'm just again a normal person, a normal man, in responding to one of the most dangerous men in the world. But if I, a normal person whom the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, the X-Men, and defend, and it's the least I can do to stand up when they are under attack. I will see you in the next broadcast. Goodbye.